Alright, what's up guys? It's been a little bit since I've done a video like this, but I've been hearing a lot lately in the Dragon Ball community, and I think there's some topics we need to discuss. So we're going to be discussing two things in this video. The first thing we're going to be discussing is the new Dragon Ball announcements for those of you that don't know. And we're also going to be talking about the state of Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 heading into 2026. So as far as for the first topic for the Dragon Ball announcements, for those of you that don't know, we are getting some pretty big Dragon Ball news. We're getting basically, it already got confirmed we're getting two new Dragon Ball anime projects. As far as what they are, I don't know what they will be, but if I had to guess, I would say that it's probably going to be two more Dragon Ball movies. So we're getting two new Dragon Ball movies next year, and this is all going to be announced on January 25th at this new it's like an anime con, but it's kind of like a Dragon Ball con. But yeah, we're getting some new Dragon Ball movies. Now, as far as what the movies are going to be about, I don't know what the movies are going to be about, but if I had to guess, they're probably going to be some new original movies, but if it's not about the two original movies, it probably will continue on from the anime, but hopefully they are some good movies. Maybe they'll continue Dragon Ball Super with movies from now on, but we'll see. Now, as far as the second thing I wanted to talk about is about Xenoverse 2. So I've been seeing a lot lately as far as Xenoverse 2 goes. I've been seeing a lot of people like stream Xeno a little bit more often. I don't really watch a lot of Xeno vids myself, but I've been looking on my YouTube recently, and I've been seeing a couple of people just sit there and you know, they would just sit there and pretty much like, you know, upload the game, which there's nothing wrong with playing Xeno still, like currently, and I don't even have a problem with people like streaming the game either, but the thing that was making me like cringe recently was I was watching one of my friends recently. He was streaming Xeno, and he was hosting like a 1st to 5 between these two guys, and like most people already know, they were sitting there just playing like male Saiyans, just running on Evo, doing the same old, like, you know, boring tactic. And to be honest with y'all, when I saw that stuff, I kind of just cringed a bit, because to be honest with y'all, ever since Dragon Ball Sparking Zero came out, Xenoverse 2 has kind of been in like a very bad situation. And when I say it's in a bad situation, I mean that pretty much that the game isn't really worth, like, you know, playing like seriously anymore. Because one of the things I've noticed is that a lot of people are sitting there and they're like trying to bring Xeno back, I guess, because like I said, people were streaming like Xeno sets recently, and I honestly didn't think people still did Xeno sets, but apparently people are still doing Xenoverse 2 1st to 5s, which honestly I think that's kind of stupid. I used to play Xeno in a comp manner, and I can kind of understand it a little bit, but I still don't see like the point of it, because Xeno is not really a game I think that people should be like playing competitively. Like, you can still play Xeno, there's nothing wrong with playing Xeno still, but as far as playing competitive goes, there's just like there's no point in really playing the game in like comp, because everybody that plays Xenoverse nowadays, they all play the same way. They just sit there and, you know, they'll just sit there and run on male Saiyans on Evo. They'll cheese, and then when you beat them doing this, they'll complain like hypocrites, and then it's basically just the same old Xeno nonsense, just hypocrites complaining about, you know, stuff that they're doing, and people are apparently still trying to, you know, they're still trying to play that game seriously, but it's not a game you should just sit there and play like competitively. Like, y'all can play Xeno, but honestly, I think people should just leave the competitive side or that side out of it, because Xeno is not really a game you can play like competitively. I used to be one of those people though that would sit there, you know, and think that you could play Xeno and like competitive, and I used to be like that, but I moved out of that phase, to be honest with y'all. And if I was to look back on, like, you know, like old Xeno in the past, maybe I could see, you know, people playing the game back in the day, playing it serious, but in 2025 and almost 2026, I think it's time for people just to like move on, because we got a lot of good games coming out next year, like GTA 6. We got the Wolverine game that's coming out. Like, we got a lot of good games coming out, and I think a lot of people would have more fun playing, like, you know, newer games than just sitting on Xeno, just, you know, just complaining about stuff that they've been doing for years, like running on Evo. And to be honest with y'all, there's way better games, like I said, yeah, that y'all could be playing than Xeno. And there's even more like things you could be doing with your time, like you could be going out with your friends or something, or just going out to eat. There's a lot of better things to be doing than Xeno, but I'm not really surprised though that there's still some of those, you know, weirdos and no life still sitting on here, because I recently also saw, speaking of Xeno currently, in the state of mind of Xeno, that recently I've been getting a lot of like messages I've noticed on my like Xeno vids. So I've had some complainers pretty much just complain for years, but the fact that these people are complaining to me about Xeno is just funny. Like, I don't really care that much for Xeno anymore, as most people already know, because I've been posting a lot of like Arkham Knight videos recently, and honestly, I think Arkham Knight is more fun than Xeno. I'm not saying Xeno's a bad game. It's not a bad game. It's just, it's not really something like I put, you know, time into like how I used to. I used to put, like I said, a lot of time into Xeno, even for my channel, you know, but in my opinion, Xeno is just done. Like, you know, Xeno was pretty fun back in like 2019 and early 2022, but I really can't for the life of me see what some people find like appealing about that game still, because the only thing that you really can do on Xeno now is just fight the same cheaters and stuff, but having people host first to fives, and it's just boring watching the same content, because like I said earlier, you guys are just gonna run on male Saiyans with Evo, cheese, or just use a Namek or something, and then when y'all lose, it's gonna be a problem. But honestly, I think people should take my advice and just play other games. But yeah, Xeno, in my opinion, if you guys want my personal opinion, I think right now it's dead. There are people that still play Xeno, and that's true, but I wouldn't say the game is like active, because in order to have an active game, you'd have to have like a lot of people playing, and In the case of Xenoverse 2, there's probably, I think, maybe like 10 or so people on there. But there's definitely not like a lot of people on there. The only people that still play Xeno are those people that like really love the game. The guys that are still running sets are apparently still playing. I thought they would have got off, but apparently they're still playing, and some people are trying to make Xeno like quote-unquote active again, but honestly they might as well just stop. Because people want to put so much time into that game, but they don't want to give these other games a chance, and I think if a lot of people did, they would realize that there's a lot of, you know, good. When I stopped playing Xeno a lot, honestly, guys, I was able to play like a lot of games, and I about continuing, and that's pretty much what I did. Or I've been doing. I've been playing these. I still do play Xeno, but it's like very rarely I'll get on. I might play Xeno if a friend asks me to hop on and to do 2s or 3s, but as far as first to 5s and stuff goes, I probably won't do that again. Because I don't really care enough about Xeno to play it like seriously, and the only way I think I would maybe do a first to 5 is if it was with like a friend. I would never do a set now with like a random person, or just if someone was like, hey, you're trash, first to 5 me. I wouldn't even do that now because it's just a waste of time. But yeah, in my opinion, Xeno's dead. I think people need to move on, and it had its time, you know. Maybe someday, maybe Xeno will get active, but maybe someday Xeno will get active again, but I honestly doubt it will, because the recent DLC that came out for Xeno was pretty bad. The only good thing about it was Golden Frieza. That new Broly was mid, and we have one more DLC that's coming out next year. It's probably not going to be any better, and until Dims gives us like good DLC, I can't see Xeno being like anything else but just mid right now. But yeah, the DLCs aren't helping Xeno, and honestly, people are just, or not people, Dimps is just trying to sit there and like cash grab Xeno, because it's been going on for like 9+ years, but yeah, they're just trying to cash grab off it, and it's not really working in my opinion. But yeah, Xeno is dead. Whether some people want to admit it or not, the game is not active like that. And only like no lives and like, you know, these weirdos that still play it for first to 5s take it serious. Now, the other thing I wanted to say was that we are apparently getting a new Dragon Ball game next year. A lot of people have been saying it's going to be Xeno 3. Honestly, I would like to have a Xeno 3, but I can't really say for sure yet if it is going to be Xeno 3, because we've heard rumors before about Xenoverse 3, but apparently we're going to start getting like a new Dragon Ball game each year now, so we're going to be apparently getting a new, like I said, a new Dragon Ball game every year, which I'm kind of okay with that. But as far as it being Xenoverse 3, I'm not going to hold my breath for it, but I would love the idea of a Xenoverse 3, and it better be like really good. But yeah, people are saying Xenoverse 3 is coming out next year, which I think it's going to be another Xeno, and it's probably going to be worse than Sparking, but I have hope. But that's what I mainly wanted to say as far as my rant videos, is that, you know, Xeno is dead. I think people need to move on. You guys can still play the game, but Comp Xeno and stuff needs to stop, and that stuff has been dead for like how many months now, like over 6 months, so yeah, people just need to move on from that. But yeah, I think people need to move on from that, and I'm really excited for the new anime projects that are being announced, because I'm glad that we're at least getting something for Dragon Ball, and that we are getting more stuff. But yeah, I'm kind of a bit more excited for the anime at this point. What's it called? The little Xeno for Xenoverse stuff. But that's my opinion about it. I guess the last thing I'm probably gonna say is that yeah, we'll see next year, man, if the new game that's coming out is gonna be good. I will buy it if it is, but if it looks like Sparking Zero or it's just another incomplete Dragon Ball game, then I'm probably just not gonna buy it. I'll just sit there and, like, you know, do my own thing, and then I'll just, you know, be playing other games still, like how I've been doing, and then we'll just go from there. But that's probably gonna be it for this. Like I said, we're just gonna have to wait and see next year. Hopefully we'll get a good Dragon Ball game, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. So I guess when the new Dragon Ball game comes out, we'll sit there and give it a shot. But until that happens, I'm just gonna have to wait and see. But like I said, I'm not gonna hold my breath, so we'll give it a chance. And like I said, hey, hopefully one day we'll get, you know, some good Xenoverse 2 DLC, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. But I guess tune in for the next videos. I might do another rant video soon, but we'll see. But that's all I wanted to say, and I'll see you guys in the next video. But that's all from Taco.